What are some of the best things that an entrepreneur, business owner can do right now to increase the value of their business before they get ready to sell or before they get ready to pass it off to the next generation?
You've got to reduce the dependency upon you.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be, no matter how beautiful your business is, that is going to be the single thing that will devalue your business outside of the money, is its concentration on you as the owner. And I love this concept that I've heard where people talk about the 5 exits in a business, and where you exit being the worker, then you exit being the manager, then you exit, into maybe not being the CEO, but you're the board of director, and then you exit from that. Like, there are ways to orchestrate exits in a business so you can develop and evolve as your company and as you personally want to do. But the biggest part is you can no longer be the one that gets all the work done. If you want to sell your business, you really have to be the one who orchestrates the ability for others to do the work. And there's lots that go into that. But I will say, as a practical tip, that is the thing to always be conscious on, even if that someday is really far out.
I like talking about it as orchestrating. I talk about delegating a lot and not robbing someone of the blessing of letting them do their job or take something else on. But orchestrating is a beautiful concept because you really are, if a business owner looks at themselves more like a conductor, then they don't feel like they're pushing their job on someone else or they're giving someone a mess that they're kind of embarrassed to give them. They're kind of more at the front and still involved and still caring for them, but they're empowering them to step up, and they're also making their business more valuable because they are getting themselves out of the way.
I love that. We love that word.
Beyond revenue and profit, when you were talking to buyers and sellers, what do buyers look for when they're evaluating a business? And kind of what are some of the things that might surprise business owners that makes their business attractive to potential buyers that they might not realize?
So interesting. So while we don't represent the buyers as much as we work with the sellers and getting their business ready, I'm always in conversation with people in the space because I want to know too. It's how we help our clients be better. And I think here's the interesting things. One is we've gone through periods of business acquisition that have solely focused on the ultra, ultra, ultra high end. Mm-hmm. That interest is coming down. So I will say there does seem to be 1 million in not revenue, but EBITDA in some ways, or net income is a bit of a line, but people are dipping below the line to broaden and come into spaces that would normally not be considered sellable. These type of strategies we talked about help ensure that. But what they're looking for is either a unique proposition that represents a competitor, like you are competitive enough to a big guy that they want to gobble. They want to acclimate you into there. So they're going to get rid of their competition. That's a strategy that is used day in, day out. It's how Facebook bought Instagram. That story we know. I think the other part is that in verticals. So we have like some clients where their strength in selling relies in the vertical that they can build out. So we've identified 3 verticals within the business that we can build out because those verticals represent highly profitable work that a bigger company could come back up to and take. And that work that they're building is subscription based. It's a recurring charge, monthly recurring revenue. That's really attractive. If you have to, we call it a one and done. If you're only going to get one charge or one transaction with the client in a year, that's a harder business to sell because it means it needs to have a phenomenal marketing engine. It needs a phenomenal sales engine. But if you're able to get that recurring revenue coming in and that's steady and you have length of contracts, these things are all of interest. But the 2 that stand out to me is definitely that buyers are coming down market into smaller and smaller businesses, especially if you can represent a niche, a competitive type of a situation, and that monthly recurring revenue.
I think that might be encouraging to some of our listeners because they might feel like their business is too small. And to know that obviously the business has to be sound, but to know that selling a business or is not something that's just reserved for people that they perceive to be uber successful or, big name companies, that there are people who are looking for their businesses.
Well, and we've been talking about buyers in terms of investors, but a buyer could be your employee, right? Yes. Or somebody that's retiring from corporate and wants to get into the world and maybe it is in alignment with your social cause and the social value of your business. So they don't always have to be these big PEs and VCs and investor people. There's actually a lot of work that goes lateral too. So you never know.